I am so done with hearing about the eclipse on April 8th. However, there is something very important that no one is talking about that I think you should all listen to. You see, when this eclipse happens on April 8th, if you do not gather all of your gold and your firstborn children and sacrifice them to the people in control, the sun may go out forever. See, that's something similar to what Christopher Columbus actually told the Native Americans to gain power and authority over them, or something that a lot of people that had the information on tracking eclipses used. They used that information to take advantage of the ignorant people. Do not be the ignorant people. Yes, eclipses in past have signified important events of the Lord, but it does not mean this eclipse does. The whole going straight through multiple towns called Nineveh, it doesn't even do that. It actually goes only through 2 towns named Nineveh. The other ones are clearly out of the range of the map. But Christians are so easy to jump on this train, it should make you concerned as to why. As a good rule to follow in life, when you see everyone going one direction, it's usually not the correct direction to go. The road is narrow, and few find it that leads to life. You see, they want you to believe in something fearful. You see, April 8th happens to be the day that Aleister Crowley began to write his Book of the Law. And of course, CERN is running another experiment on April 8th. But April 8th to the people of Switzerland will actually be an entirely different day than April 8th is to the United States, who will be experiencing the eclipse. And in fact, the eclipse won't even be visible over the region of Switzerland where they're starting the Large Hadron Collider. And NASA is launching rockets at the solar eclipse, which is very shady and very unusual. And we all know NASA is not somebody to be trusted. And it's interesting that they named the project that they're launching the rockets Apep, which is the name of the snake in Egyptian mythology that eats the sun. So they are launching rockets at the eclipse to study the interference effects of things. And isn't it interesting that CERN's logo kind of looks like the image of an eclipse about to happen? And even the World Economic Forum somewhat resembles an eclipse. You see, that's because these eclipse events are used for occultic celebrations. You see, there is nothing good planned for this eclipse. There's nothing of the Lord planned for this eclipse. There's no significance to God planned for this eclipse. There's about 2 to 5 eclipses that happen every year. They just happen in different locations. What makes you think the fact that the eclipse is happening over America is the center of the world? The occult-run country of America is somehow more important than the rest of the entire earth. This is an occult ritual phenomenon. Eclipses are of important significance to occultists and to people involved in witchcraft and seance experiences. These eclipses are powerful metaphysical things for their agenda to roll out. So why all the Christians are tied up into the fear and the worship of an occult practice is baffling to me. The eclipse is not something you should concern yourself with. In fact, it's something you should pray against the activities that will be taking place on the day of the eclipse. Yes, the occult will probably be doing things, but if you give them fear and you give them anxiety, and now we have the school is being canceled and the Army Guards are being called out for the eclipse, and even Niagara Falls has declared a state of emergency before it has even had an emergency due to too many tourists showing up to see Niagara Falls because of the crazy Christians that are going to go check out the occult ceremony. You know, all these events are happening because you've given into fear. It gives them a reason to do something. You see, this is how self-fulfilling prophecy works. You are prophesying negative things and allowing it to happen. And now, if the cell phone towers go down on that day, or if there's chaos and all the Christians gather to watch the eclipse, they can blame it on all these fanatical church people freaking out about an event that was no more simple than the one that Christopher Columbus used to take advantage of the natives. Oh, and let's not forget that the third temple might be going up on April 8th for the Jews, and oh my gosh, the third temple, it's gonna happen, guys, it's gonna happen. This is an occult, Kabbalistic evil agenda going out, guys. This is not a good thing. Do not be tricked, and do not be ignorant, and do not give into fear. Recognize demonic prophecy when you see it, and stop feeding into it. This is not of the Lord to determine something amazing. And yes, there is a comet called the Devil's Comet that supposedly might be visible when the eclipse happens. Big whoop-de-doo, it doesn't matter. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Trust in the Lord. Focus on yourself and how you are treating others, and stop focusing on the fear that they want you to focus on. Stop giving in to the agenda. If I was to ask what I think this eclipse is really about, it's really to see how much control the occult actually has over the Christian community, that they foolishly freak out and spread this false information about this eclipse creating an X, which is a Tav, and oh no, it's the Hebrew letter. This is ridiculousness. Pay attention to the words that Jesus spoke. Pay attention to the reality of things around you. Don't give in to woo-woo constructs or dates or times or seasons. You will not know them. And let's say the eclipse is a sign of judgment befalling America. Well, as a Christian, you are under the protection of the Lord. And it's not something you should concern yourself with, but rather it's something you should concern the lost with. And you should tell them, and you should love them, and you should help them, and you should guide them to the truth. Pay attention to loving others and acting like Jesus, and stop paying attention to the fear.